we've been hearing a little flutter in the wind about an upcoming contract.
What?
I told you it is a rumor. It is wild, but it is.
When the entire track's coming for him, he genuinely looks like he opened his brace because he was like pulling his hair out one day and hurt him too much.
Ferrari is the only team that if Max wanted to go to, also he couldn't go to.
Lewis gave him a cold shoulder. Oscar gave him the middle finger. What is up, guys?
Welcome
to
back.
episode number 10.
Ooh, we're entering the double digits.
Let's go. Thank you for all your support. Please continue supporting us. Hit that like, subscribe, share button and keep us going.
Yes, we are doing really well on Apple Podcasts, and we would hope that we start doing really well on YouTube and Spotify. So yeah, please share, like, and subscribe.
Yep.
Yes, let's get into the episode.
Yep.
So last episode we spoke about how Saudi the Grand Prix is coming up, and we don't really know much about the Jeddah track.
Right.
So I did my research.
Yeah, let's go. Give me the deets.
Okay, so Saudi or Jeddah is actually the fastest street circuit.
Oh.
Yes, the fastest and second fastest overall on the calendar, second only to Monza.
That's fun.
Monza is known as the Temple of Speed, and Jeddah is the second fastest. That also means that Red Bull till last year have dominated the circuit.
Right, yeah.
Because they have been the fastest car. So, Max Verstappen has got a lot of poles in Jeddah.
Right.
And last year, Max was first and Perez was second, actually.
No way.
Yes.
Was this the last race he was second at?
Might have been. It was the second race last year.
Oh,
which is also why I didn't remember much about it, because I started watching from the third race.
Yeah.
So that was interesting. It's also the longest track.
That's true, yes. Yes, it's also got the most amount of corners, if I'm not wrong. A total of 27 corners.
A lot of corners.
It makes me question, how can you have 27 corners and still have the second fastest track?
Yeah, I think if I remember the track currently, it goes into like 3, 4, 5 corners like simultaneously, which is gonna be crazy. Another thing to note is it's one of the younger tracks on the calendar, only introduced as recent as 2021.
Right.
Which, many of the tracks have been here for ages. This is one of the more unexplored.
It's a rookie track.
It's a rookie track. That is correct. Let's see if we're missing anything else about this. Third. Okay, it's not the longest track, guys. It's the third longest track.
There we go. Yeah.
Behind Spa and Las Vegas. And average speed on this track is 250 kilometers per hour.
Whoa!
Crazy, right?
That's a quick race.
Yeah. So did my research and I'm excited.
Yeah, same. Now even I'm excited. This seems like one of those uber challenging tracks that's gonna really take out most of the drivers. Like mental capacity more than anything. Really fun to watch people like Oscar and Lando navigate this now.
Did you watch the Saudi Arabia Grand Prix last year? I'm sure you did.
I did.
Yeah, there was a notable name who made a debut last year.
Ciao.
Yeah, ciao. Ollie Behrman.
Yeah, he killed it to the point. I clearly remember this whole Ollie Behrman doing his debut in Ferrari scene for two major reasons. One, he got points on his first freaking race.
He did.
And two is somebody waited for him after the race was over, right on track, to say congratulations to him.
Charles? Then?
It was Lewis.
Oh, Lewis is so sweet with all the rookies, honestly. Ollie Behrman, I mean, that time Science had his appendix whole thing was going on, which is why he got a chance. But to get points on debut, he came 8th? 7th? That's crazy, right? So I'm only hoping he can repeat that performance this year. I know he's not in a Ferrari, he's in a Haas.
Yeah.
But hopefully, fingers crossed. Because last race, we spoke about it, he did really well.
Yep.
Climbed from 20th to 10th. Did you see the really cute radio message after the win?
No.
Not the win, but... So, obviously his engineer, complimented him, and then his dad came on the radio.
No way, that's so cute.
Yeah, and then his brother also came on the radio, and it was like a whole family reunion going on the radio. It was really cute.
That's so wholesome, dude. That is so wholesome. But that kid's just like, he look at him and you feel wholesome, you know. He's just like doing these cute things, and he's like the little kid on the track. Even though Kimmy's younger than him, I still feel like Ollie's more of the kid on the track.
And
you know,
these two are like best friends. Like they're always hanging out together.
Yeah.
And it's so surreal to think that they are the future of F1.
Mm-hmm.
You know, when we are like 50 and old,
right,
they are gonna be like
killing it.
I mean, they're already killing it, but they're going to be like the seniors on track.
They'll be like the Alonso on track.
Yeah. My husband yesterday was like, "You think Kimi was born when Alonso started racing?"
No, he wasn't.
Yeah, I was like, "No, I don't think so."
In fact, if I remember it correctly, Kimi was born after Lewis got into racing, which is even later in life.
Yeah. And there's, I was hearing this podcast, another very famous F1 podcast called Pit Stop.
Right.
And they were talking about this famous video that's going viral recently again of Kimi at like 8 or 9 getting a cap signed from
Lewis. I saw that. It was so cute. Yeah.
They're like at Imola or something, and he says, "I hope you win, Lewis." And Lewis is like, "Thanks, kid."
He signs his book, he signs his cap.
Yeah.
And this little Kim, I remember the video with this little Kim, he just walking around with this massive book in his hand trying to get signatures from everyone.
Yeah. And this year in Imola, they'll be racing each other. Like,
what?
That's madness.
Yeah, it's nuts. But I mean, on that note, most of them have been through something like this. If you go into the history of it, considering they all start from the academy now, before it was just straight into F3, F2, and then you're into F1 if you get lucky. They've all been around these people for a very long time. And of course, when you're racing in the lower leagues, you do look up to the upper leagues, right? You are going to look out to the ultimate league of F1. So I come across a lot of these videos where you'll see people like George or Charles or Max even just roaming around and meeting everyone. In fact, there is one very specific video of Max as a 4-year-old walking up with a little book and a little pen to Michael Schumacher, and like Schumacher looks at him and he looks at Joss at the back and he realizes who the kid is. And he picks him up and talks to him and he asks him what he wants to do, and he's like, "I want to race." And it's just so cute to watch the whole thing.
But I don't think they ever race together, right?
No, of course not.
Yeah, because that is what is rare. Like, you know, to be a kid and look up to your hero and still be racing with them. Like,
so that I think has been done with Alonso and the previous generation of drivers, where you saw like the king suddenly be like, "Oh, okay, all the kids are on track now." And to think of it, he's done it twice. He's done it with the Lewis and George generation and the Charles generation. Now he's doing it with the new generation as well.
He's like the great grandpa. That's what he is, like, really. And today I went down like this rabbit hole of videos of like 2018, 2019, but like the whole Charles, Albon, they all were the rookies, and it was so sweet just to like see like the passing of time and how they are like the seniors in the batch now, and it's quite crazy. It gives like full school vibes.
Yeah, genuinely, you could tell these juniors have become seniors now and they're graduating essentially.
Literally. Today there was this video reel of George meeting one of his little kiddie fans in Japan.
The kid with the tea crown. It looks so cute.
He looks so cute, and in my head I'm just thinking this guy will also one day become like Yuki racing. George will still be there doing his T-pose.
They'll do the T-pose together. It's like that video had that little kid not just on like in Japan looking at meeting Russell, but they also have like an additional video of him like cheering for George at home. And every race, this kid's just like, "Go George, go!"
George. How do you think he looked at everyone and picked George?
Listen, I don't know. Like I can understand when like, you know, like the newer generation of women that are entering F1 just like so gaga over Lecky. I get it.
Yeah.
I get that, you know. He's got that.
But this kid has no fascination for looks. He just like looked at all these drivers and thought, Russell is the one I want to fanboy over. That, I mean, see, I have nothing against. He's a great driver. It's just that he doesn't emote much personality, which is why I'm like, what did this little kid see that we are not seeing, you know?
I think he's seeing the fact that, which even I didn't see until yesterday, is in this year, Russell has got the most amount of podiums.
Yeah, that's wild. That is wild. He has 63 points, guys.
Mm-hmm.
He is,
and this is without coming
close.
first.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's actually crazy.
Yeah,
he's sneaking in there.
exactly. He's playing a very quiet game.
It's kind of like Charles last year before Monaco, right? Because he was getting podiums,
right,
and he was actually doing pretty well in points, but he had not won until Monaco.
Correct.
So that's kind of what Russell's giving me right now. And being 63 is amazing because Max Verstappen's at 69. So, and we've been hearing a little flutter in the wind about an upcoming contract.
For George, yeah, I mean, after his last performance, for hell sure Toto's giving him a contract extension.
So, I would agree. If I feel like that is only if Toto has lost all hope of getting Max Verstappen.
Okay, you have to realize now Max is in a position where he is also coveted, but at the same time, Red Bull's going to fight for him, Aston's going to fight for him, Caddy's going to fight for him. You're going to have 3 brands fighting for one driver. The smartest move you can make is retain your current winner who knows the car, has a long career ahead of him, and just keep building that relation. It's what they did with Lewis. Was very very fortunate for them that they won so many titles with it. I think if they stick to that strategy, it might help them a little more compared to trying to switch over to Max and then seeing how Max adjusts to the car first and then listening to Max's shit all the time. Is just,
So basically, water the grass that's on your side is because there's also a lot of noise about Max's contract. Because this is the first time since 2022 that Max Verstappen's not in the top 2 of Drivers' Championship. And the big rumor, where there is absolutely no proof of this, is that he has some kind of clause where if he is not in the top 3 of the Drivers' Championship, he can walk out of Red Bull scot-free with like no penalties, nothing.
Without a release fee.
Contract,
What?
I told you it is a rumor. It is wild, but it is there.
That's bizarre. That's bizarre.
Yeah, apparently he has said, if you cannot give me a car that is good enough to keep me in top 3, I'm gonna leave. I'm gonna walk out. And he is in the top 3 currently.
Yeah.
Russell's coming for him.
Yeah.
And he might not be in the top 3 soon.
It's not just Russell who's coming for him at this point. The entire track's coming for him because he doesn't have the car anymore. He had the car, and they've clearly done something that's not sat right with both drivers. And now they're reaching a point where Red Bull's going to have to start rethinking everything because, okay, I understand the fact that Newey's gone should not push the aerodynamics of the car so badly off.
Yeah,
right?
It should not have.
But they have. And now, if you think about it in the long term, Horner's in deep shit because now he's lost aero, he's losing a driver, he's also lost his engine. What's left?
His seat. Maybe that'll go next.
Oh, if Christian's... What do you think? Doctor's gonna come back? Marco's old, bro. Let him be.
Marco's old, but he's like waving his mouth off everywhere. Like
wherever
he's talking.
He can.
He's talking about Max's future and the uncertainty of it, and how he's worried Max is leaving. And I'm just like, that is not a good precedent if you are yourself like projecting this, you know.
Correct.
Which really makes me feel there is a lot of tension in the camp.
But okay, this is a little known fact. Do you know Marco has a semi-favorite driver on track after Max?
Lucky? Then?
Believe it or not, it's Gasly.
Oh, okay.
So Gasly's been on Marco's radar ever since he raced for Red Bull and did like really perform. But the minute he got out of Red Bull, he did kind of perform. He held his own on the track, came top 15 at least. And apparently Marco's very pleased with the way Gasly held off everyone for 20 laps, including holding off his own driver.
Wow, so what? Now get Gasly from Alpine to
come
Red
on.
Bull? Like
that's not happening. I mean, I know Alpine has a lot of reserve drivers, but I doubt Gasly's going to make that move.
Yeah, exactly. Gasly's been burnt. Why would he want to do this again? No.
He's been there. He's already like gone through what Lawson's gone through and I don't think it's working out for him.
Yep, for sure. But Max, like, this whole thing of, he can walk out any minute. I would love to believe this because wow, what drama? Like wow,
Grade A.
Grade A. But where is he walking to?
Aston.
But right now he can't walk to Aston.
Of course
no.
not. Of
so
course
next
not.
year he'll walk to Aston. You're saying.
And Alonso's okay. You have to now. This is something that I again very recently came across. Currently, in this year, there are only 4 drivers who have not scored points yet. Believe it or not, out of 20 drivers, only 4 have not scored points. That's Alonso. There's unfortunately Duhan, and there's both the Kick-Saubers.
Oh, wait, what? No, they must have scored points because Kick-Sauber's at 6 points.
6. Hulkenberg got points in the last race, but that's before that.
They hadn't.
Yeah. So at the moment, Bortoleto, Alonso, and Duhan, neither of them have points now. If we pay attention to Alonso on this, it's 4 races now.
He's just crashed. He's had some bad luck as well. But I feel like Stroll having points and him not having points is quite bad.
Exactly. Like the whole world has been calling Stroll a Nepo baby for the longest time, and I'm not going to stop. Yeah. But, at the same time, to see someone like Alonso, okay, he's not in his prime anymore, that's fair. But it's a concern. For a team like Aston, it's a concern because he's their senior driver.
Yeah.
So,
see, I feel like Alonso also might want to throw his hat because, like, okay, let's say Lewis is still fighting for his 8th. What is Alonso still here for? Like, I'm just like, man, leave with dignity.
Yeah.
I think I said this in our Lego video about Lewis as well, but especially Alonso. Like, even if Aston comes into its prime next year, like, it's gonna not be easy for Alonso to win again.
Of course not.
I just feel like, he should go with grace. That video where he watches Max's poly lap in Japan and he's like smiling.
Yeah,
and he's like, that like really felt to me. I don't know why. Maybe I'm being too emotional. Like it felt to him reckoning that like he's not part of the competition anymore. Like, that's where the competition is, and he is just looking at it from distance. And it made me quite sad because I was like, we recently made a reel about it. Like people like Valtteri Bottas, they are just sitting reserve in a team, and I get loving the racing and loving the car and loving the environment, but I really feel at some point you have to leave with dignity, and I just want Alonso to go before he is shelved into one of these roles. Not saying that he'll accept it. I
agree,
but even now, like, he's just struggling with this car. Half the races he doesn't finish, and I'm sure, like, Alonso fans, it must be so hard to watch. Like, as a Science fan right now, we are kind of suffering, right? Like, watching him in that car. Imagine for how many years this must be going on with Alonso now.
It's been a while now.
Yeah,
man.
when
like,
did he
I
win
think
his
the last time he won was in McLaren. It was ages ago.
That's what I'm saying. Like, imagine as a driver, it must not be easy, and as fans, it must not be easy.
So I'm sure, yeah.
So, I really wonder what's in the future for him.
I think his contract's ending at the end of next year. Technically, 2026 end is where his contract ends. So he does.
Do you think they'll give him 1 year in the new car?
No, I think they won't. I think they'll be getting a new driver in, and they'll keep him as reserve if anything. But
this reserve thing just sucks. Like, keep rookies as reserve, man. Don't keep like these legends as reserve.
But that's the thing. They're actually being kind of practical about it. Keeping a rookie in reserve means he'll be around the pit, he'll be around the engineer's box, but he has no input. Compared to a legend standing there, like, okay, prime example, Sainz helping Albon out in race 1. He pulled him out of the track at the right time because his experience let him do that. If I put a Kimi Antonelli there, he's not going to tell anyone to move.
I agree, but I feel like as a rookie, you have stuff to learn, right?
Yeah.
So, okay, I'm not saying from the team's perspective, it makes sense from that, but as just like a human perspective, like if a Kimi or a little Ollie roaming around in the pits every weekend, they are observing, they are learning, they might have some growing to do.
Right.
Why is Valtteri Bottas going around doing weird side quests? Okay, and just there, like, I mean, imagine this man, he's raced for years and years, and now he is interviewing people and like putting on weird cameras and going on these weird rides, and I just watch it and I'm like, what?
Yeah, this is like, I get it. I get where you're going with this, but there's a side topic here that we really need to talk about at some point. Is the weird PR strategies and marketing strategies these fuckers are using on Instagram now. Like, my prime example in this is first Valtteri, and then second
V-Cub.
Yeah,
V-Cub.
They put baskets on each other's heads and tried to play basketball with broken tomatoes. I'm like, what?
Dude, V-Cub's social media is being managed by some crazy Gen Z people. Like,
at this point, I think they're younger than Gen Z also, bro. They must be like young. I'm not about like 15-year-olds, man.
Child labor is going on because genuinely, like they are like lip syncing Kardashians. They are doing weird challenges.
Yeah, they're taking the most weird things. Even that day's post-race interview has like Hajar and Liam poking out from behind a tree, and they've recorded. I'm like, what are you doing? Why is this necessary? These guys are serious drivers. Please stop screwing with them. But yeah, Vika's going strong, dude, especially after Lawson's arrival. I think it's gotten even more because
maybe they're trying to cheer Lawson up. You know, maybe all the trauma that
he's seen his face in each and every one of those reels.
No, like genuinely, it's a thing to be studied. How much Lawson's aged in 13 months.
Yeah.
The man came in last season looking like a young, fresh boy. Now he looks like a man burdened with 50 years of trauma.
Yeah. And you can't lose in the boat. Like, compared to his last year with the dreads, and now he's opened his hair out like he want to pull it. He genuinely looks like he opened his brace because he was like pulling his hair out one day and it hurt him too much. He's like, fuck, this thing open or I'm going to like try it out.
That's hilarious. I did not think of it that way.
The first time I saw his hair open, I'm like, you tried to pull it out, didn't you?
Must be after the double disqualification.
That's the time. That's exactly where it happened. It was the race after the double DQ. Then suddenly you see Lewis, new man on track, dude. Like, also, by the way, he's been avoiding the press. So, Lewis originally, when he went through the paddock, if you remember, or even when he's going up to his box, there up till last year, in fact, you've seen him come out in the most fashionable clothes, walking it like it's a ramp, making sure every eye looks at him.
Correct.
He's hiding now. He takes his little razor scooter and he zips past the ways where people won't be. And this is not just one person, but like 2-3 people have said this, like photographers on the track and commentators. Everyone's commented on this, that he is now not as publicly faced up as most people, or as much as even he was last year.
Because I mean, he's still doing magazine covers. He's still going to be at the Met Gala.
Of course.
All of that. So I wonder why. Like, I think he's just tired of the when are you going to win, Lewis? We all have
I think he just doesn't want to like psych himself out anymore.
Yeah, like because all the questions are that, right?
Yeah.
What can we expect next race?
I mean, he ended that conversation very well.
Yeah.
He broke my heart, but he ended that conversation very well. He's like, just don't. Yeah, you know, like right now, let me do me. Let me figure this car out.
Yeah.
And then we can go somewhere with it.
Because I agree. We as fans have put a lot of pressure on both Lewis and Sainz.
Yeah.
Who have literally switched teams,
new cars, new environments,
exactly,
everything.
And like we need to give them a little like
breathing space. Honestly,
we do. It hurts because you want them to win and do well every race, but we can't question them at all.
Yeah.
It's just unfair on them. Coming back to Aston and Max. So do you think that's what's going to happen? Because we've spoken about this multiple times. Max and Aston.
I think it's his go-to spot. It's a known engine, known car designer. It's just going to work well. It's going to be a good fit for him. Lawrence is just as messed up as Max is. I think they'll be a great fit for each other, honestly. It's going to bring a new amount of ruthlessness to the track, which is going to be fun to watch.
Because I have a very controversial opinion.
Which is?
I think if he doesn't win this year, which it looks unlikely.
He's going to quit? Yeah, I had this inclination that you might say that. He has hinted at it too, like he's kind of getting done with this.
Like there are so many like interviews that he's like, I don't want to fight for my 8th championship. I don't want to keep staying.
Yeah, I don't want to be there.
I want to give my family time. He's having a kid now. I think in our very first episode we spoke about this, that like maybe he'll just quit and do sim race.
Yeah. But in in a world like F1, we've seen a lot of drivers who've been super famous, and today you won't remember their names.
Agreed.
Right? I feel like he shouldn't become one of those cautionary tales if he quits too early.
But he has 4. Is it too early? Like he has
No,
4.
it's not about the championships, but the age more than anything. He's still quite young.
I agree. He is, but I feel like if he leaves now,
He'll leave on that high.
Not just that, I feel like people will never be able to forget him.
Yeah.
Because they'll all be like, oh my god, he left at the peak of his career. Like, remember him? Like, he'll become.
It'll become one of those folklores, like, had he not quit, he'd be the fucking king of the track. Yeah, I get it.
And in the contracts, I think Norris is still 27 right now. Piastri is still 28. Yep. I think Verstappen's also till 28. And then there is one man.
Whose life you want?
Whose life I want to live. It must be so nice to be Charles Leclerc, waking up every morning, knowing he has nothing to worry about.
Yeah.
He's just his multi-year contract. When does it end?
Multi-year. It does not end, essentially.
No wonder in DTS he's the only one chilling. He's like, oh, with the Kardashians.
I look perfect. Like, I can't forget him trying to say, I look perfect. Bro, cocky you are, huh?
Yeah.
Stop doing that.
Where does this confidence come from? Evidently, it comes from knowing your future is secure.
Yeah, that's
He's
true.
going nowhere. So, I was talking to a friend and they were like, Max can go anywhere. Like, anyone will take him. And I was like, what about Ferrari? They've already replaced Sainz with a 7-time world champion. They will not replace their Ferrari princess with a 4-time world champion.
Of course not.
So Ferrari is the only team that if Max wanted to go to, also he couldn't go to until Lewis retires.
I have a different question for you. Who replaces Max if he leaves?
Red Bull should just shut its doors. Be like,
they've got 2 teams. They're not doing that.
No, they'll be like, VCAP is our first team now. Red Bull is packing up. We now only make, drinks. Goodbye. Peace out. Because they have invested everything into
Max.
So, I told you this the day we were talking about Lawson. Yeah. I was like, if Max goes, who will come in place of Max? Yeah. They have no backup. Absolutely no backup. You think now Yuki will lead the team? That's not happening.
I mean, they won't have an option. But other than that, they do have a couple of people they can pick who've been Red Bull drivers before, who I would love to see first drivers as Red Bull. Although one of them is a little too old now, but the other one can still.
Are we again going to talk about Ricciardo? Every episode, boom, Jeddah Circuit.
I'm sorry, okay? Like, it just happens that he's... See, this is what I'm saying. Like, if Alonso leaves like Danny, he can be mentioned so much. In today's time, I think we've done 10 episodes, we've spoken about Alonso only when he's done something on track.
Yeah.
Otherwise, Danny's not been on track. I still have a conversation about him every time we talk.
This is why I'm saying that if Max quits, he will become a Danny, but even bigger Danny.
He'll be the biggest Danny. Then.
Yeah, everyone every time will be like, what if Max comes back? What if Max comes back? What if he's getting Max back? Will become some myth, legend, Max the legend. Yeah. So that'll be good for him.
And the second person I thought would be Checo.
Checo I can see if they growl a little, maybe. But if he's with Cadillac, then what?
Checo just signed a new brand endorsement also, right? With Heineken 0.0, which means, so Heineken is an F1 brand, directly related F1 brand. Now, with Checo being their brand ambassador, any team would be happy to take him.
I think Cadillac's going to go hard.
Yeah.
And then we're
if nothing as a second driver, but they will.
Imagine 2026, no Max on track, Perez is back. I feel like
I'll laugh my ass off. This is like saying Lewis left and Nico came back.
Yeah, I feel like which alternate universe are we living in? What the hell has happened?
Nope.
That'd be so funny.
It will also be funny to see Checo and Max fight it out. Because when Checo left, they were teammates. I mean, they were still fighting it out, but they weren't really like fighting it out.
It would be nice.
Yeah.
If it happens. The way we stand right now, might not happen.
Honestly, the way we stand right now, there's so much that's still open-ended.
Yeah.
I think it's going to take a couple of months for this lineup for next year to be really settled in with Cadillac.
One thing we can shut down is the topic of V10 engines. They aren't coming, guys. They aren't coming back. The meeting happened in Bahrain and it's been squashed.
It's just sad. Like, I agree with Jeremy, dude. Like, it's so sad. Jeremy Clarkson was the one who was really pushing for it, and his advocacy did not work out.
Yeah, so we will not get to hear the amazing roars of the weekends as we predicted. Audi, Honda, and Mercedes shut it down. So that's gone. Another big news was that deputy president of FIA quitting.
Yeah. This is gonna be a bit of a rabbit hole though if you get into it. So let's get into it. Have you read the statement as to why he said he left?
Yeah, I mean, he was vague, but he hinted at there being a lot of internal disputes and him not agreeing to the President Mohammed's vision.
One of the biggest lines that stuck with me in his interview was the fact that he said the FIA does not stand for what it started off with.
Oh, that's harsh in a good way. Because it's probably
brilliant.
Right.
It needs to be said.
Yeah.
This needs to be pulled up. I don't know what's happening with the current FIA presidency and whether it's going to go up for re-election anytime soon. Susie Wolf was supposed to take over and be a part of the nominations, but I think she stepped back.
Yeah.
I do, however, feel like if they don't fix the situation fast enough, this is going to lead down a very, very bad path for F1, because while they're monetizing and commercializing and doing all of that under the new presidency, the sport itself is changing very badly. And I don't mean it on track, but I mean it like politically it's just changing way too much, and I don't think that's the correct path for F1 to be going on. It's always been about camaraderie. It's always been about fighting on track, not off. It's always been about letting drivers be themselves. It's always been about all of these things, but I don't think that stands anymore,
And I feel like the FIA has been messing up also recently quite a bit. In the last race, Albon got penalized. I mean, Hülkenberg did not get penalized.
Which is why Albon got penalized in
race. Yeah. So what happened, guys, was in qualifiers, this Q1, Q2, Q3, Albon was P16 in Q1, aka he went out. Hülkenberg was P15, proceeded into Q2.
Yeah.
The Aston Martins alerted through the engineers that Hülkenberg was actually not in the track limits in Q1.
Right.
Which then FIA checked and it turned out to be correct, which then Hülkenberg did get a penalty and his place was reversed with Albon.
Yes.
But Albon didn't get to fight in Q2 and then maybe even Q1.
Come up in Q1. That's true.
And he was in Q1 in the previous few races. So he could have very well been up there.
If the FI is really screwed up with Williams too.
Yeah, and
Sainz, They spoke about for such a long time. Like, how can you be so silly to not understand that the driver has paid off his penalty to the point where you are releasing a press note?
Yeah.
Saying that this driver is going to be getting a 3-place grid penalty in the next race.
Sainz got a 10-second penalty last race, which he then did.
Yeah, he paid it off towards the end before he got his DNF.
And then he retired the car. But the FI didn't know. Like, how can you not know? How can you issue a statement?
I'm not even trying to be harsh, but that's your job, bro. You're literally there to govern this race. What were you doing?
Yeah, it was kind of crazy. And it was interesting to see that in Bahrain, after the race, a lot of drivers did give Mohammed a little bit of a cold shoulder.
Cold shoulder is... Okay, Lewis gave him a cold shoulder. Oscar gave him the middle finger.
What?
Did you not see what he did?
No.
So, Oscar was speaking to somebody right after his race win, and Mohammed was standing next to him waiting to speak to him, and Mohammed tried to grab his hand and pull him towards him. Oscar has and he's gone. He's walked away from there.
Oh man, this Oscar is so cute. Like, he has zero expressions and emotions, but in these things he's expressive.
He's on point with it.
That's funny. I've not seen this.
It was so, honestly, I was like, bhai, sambhal ke, you don't want to get a fine for stuff like this, be careful. But
what will be the fine? Oh man, the driver was disrespectful to me. Then will really be the principal.
Someone's getting charged for some silly little things nowadays. The FI is really not if you can charge someone for screaming profanity in the mic while they're racing in a highest freaking tension possible, then you need to be a little more
I agree.
on edge about it.
We'll have to see. Hopefully there will be.
They also fined Albin, by the way, for £7,500.
They're behind the Williams. The Williams are anyways poor. Stop taking that money. Since like the beginning of this year, Williams is just being fine after fine after fine.
Bichara James is just like losing his hair now.
Matlab, Science has got such a big pay cut. Now half the money he gets also going in fines. He'll have to soon like leave his house. His mortgage will go unpaid. What is
this? Are we talking about? This is like Tara Rampam coming to life or what?
Saif and Science's hair, I see the similarities.
That's not. That's not. I don't want to see Science driving a taxi somewhere.
Oh, that's hilarious. A few more fun things to note before we get into our predictions is that Stroll has now become tied with Hülkenberg for the most number of Q1 exits. That's hilarious.
No, come on.
74 times that he has gone out in Q1.
I'm sorry, what?
74 times that he has gone out in Q1.
Are we talking about Hülkenberg or Sainz?
Sainz, no. Stroll.
Oh, sorry, Stroll.
Both. They're tied.
But at 74.
Yeah. Crazy. And Yuki has broken a 175 day...
75 or 25?
Something like that. 100 and something day streak of bad luck for the Red Bull second seat.
He finally got them points in the last race. Yeah, he broke the curse after Vegas last year, if I'm not wrong.
Many days. Many days.
Almost a quarter of a year.
Yeah.
If not half, but almost a quarter of a year for sure.
And the last funny thing to note, which for me is hilarious, is that really funny meme of someone screaming, Leclerc! Charles Leclerc!
Yeah.
That's from a Saudi Grand Prix.
Really?
Maybe that kid will be on his balcony again
this
year.
Leclerc!
It's so funny that boys has been using so many memes.
I'm pretty sure if that kid's even standing on his balcony, he's gonna like really turn up his voice and be like, Charles!
I don't know which year. I think was it last year only? It might be last year.
It was last year when this whole scene happened.
Leclerc!
All this comedic stuff only happens in the last year and silly season, right?
Silly season. Okay, guys, that brings us to our predictions.
I don't want to talk about it. You go first.
Again, every time we do prediction sessions, just like sweating. He's like, oh my god, I can't do this.
I got it right when I did that.
You almost got it right last time. We will not give you the full.
All right. I'll take a half point on that one.
Yes.
Okay. The correct people in top 3, but
yes. Okay.
So
my predictions are in P3 we have Charles Leclerc.
Okay.
In P2 we have Lando Norris.
Fair.
And in P1 we have Oscar Piastri.
We've got the papayas on the front row again.
Yeah, because like I said last year and all the years before that Jeddah's been on the calendar, there's a reason the Red Bulls have dominated. It's because it is the fastest track. The car that goes the fastest will dominate the track. And the McLarens can't be beat on speed. So I think they're both going to dominate.
Okay. Now, to make you think about a little something.
No, you don't make me think. You give your predictions, then we'll think about it.
Okay, fine. I'll
don't
tell you.
Delay your predictions.
Then I'll tell you why my predictions are the way they are. I have, surprisingly, we're on the same boat here. I have Charles for P3.
Leclerc.
I have Russell for P2.
You and your Russell, yeah.
He's getting me points. And I have Lando for P1.
Good for you. Great for you. Last race you had Oscar and Lando, didn't work out. Now we'll see. And now we've switched.
Yeah, now we've switched. But it worked out for me. I still had Oscar would come first. He came first.
So why have we switched?
Okay. One of the major reasons is McLaren's got a faster car, yes, on the straights.
There are a lot of turns.
There are so many turns.
I agree, but it was the longest track.
You know who's got a faster car on turns?
Russell. Hey, bhai, this Mercedes and this Russell, why can't it be Kimi?
again, same logic as Science, same logic as Hamilton. New car, everything is like still getting there for him. We need to give them time.
See, I know it has a lot of turn, but I still think there's a reason why Red Bull has done so well in the past, and I'm just going to go with that logic. Okay.
Fair enough.
And I would just like to point out, I think it can be Oscar Norris, Oscar. I don't care. They're both the same for me now.
Okay. They're not. Listen, no. We are not putting both the papayas in the same boat.
Why?
One has a very loser attitude. The other one currently holding no attitude.
No, I'll tell you why. Because like when it was the Red Bulls previously, you couldn't say Max and Perez are the same.
You could always say Perez would have to give up his spot to make Max win. This happened so many times last year.
Not last year.
Last year, sorry. Yeah.
Last year, Max was a different league than Perez. Okay?
Yeah.
So I could never say interchangeable.
Yeah.
It was mainly Max. But this year it's really because they're both really good and they're both in a really good caliber car.
Right.
Now it's just about Inky Pinky Ponky whose luck is running better that day.
Yeah, but there's also like we have our man at the back, Zach Brown, waiting to give his papaya rules in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah, but that's papaya rules only work if they're racing each other. So first, second, whatever, we'll see. I just think it can be any of them. They're both same for me.
Fair enough. Charles on 3. What's your perspective?
I am dying on the Leclerc ship. I am dying on it because I'm just like, he was 4th last. He almost got 3rd. Every race, if I put him 3rd, one race will come only.
It's just like a numbers game. Seriously. No, I put a little more thought into why I'm putting Charles 3rd.
He was 3rd last year also. I saw that. I saw that.
He did very well last year on this track. Second, his last race has given me a lot of confidence in him. Like I was
really always confident. I didn't need a race to get confident.
No. Last race he proved something that was previously missing in this season at least. I feel like the Ferraris were missing that in the season.
But the Ferraris are again, like it's again a luck game with them also.
They're getting better, yeah. They're getting better. We heard about how the underbody gave them a 0.1 second up.
Yes.
Which is a big deal in F1. You may not think 0.1 seconds much, but when it comes down to quali times and stuff, it matters a lot. Like,
I agree.
Max has taken pole position once by 0.002 seconds.
The game has become, at least in qualifiers, the game has become so tight. Like the difference between the top 5 is negligible. Like
if there were no clear timer, it would be quite screwed up. To think of it, if George had a malfunction during quali, his track times wouldn't have been set.
He just got lucky. I mean, Joshua, not Russell.
Lol. I don't know talking about Russell, dude. The hell.
But yeah, I'm excited for the race. I still am hoping we both are wrong and we got a 4th winner.
I'd die for it.
But I just don't know who to predict because no one's giving me the confidence they can be the 4th winner. So I just keep saying I'm hoping for a 4th winner, but who is this 4th? I don't know.
At the moment, let's think about it even logically. Russell is the only one left to take that podium now in the winning car.
Russell is the only one. The pole is coming. It's coming soon.
And he's going to push 2 McLarens aside like this. Again.
That was really funny. Yeah.
He's done it once, he's going to do it again. This time he'll do it on the podium, not in reality though.
Yeah. And why did you put Norris instead of Piastri for P1? You are also every day you're like Inky Pinky Ponky, ye wala McLaren for this race.
Bro, see, last race he screwed up. He's going to come back with a little bit of a vengeance. He's going to try, he's going to take over Oscar, they're going to fight it out. And it's just a thing. I feel like at this point, Zach's also just waiting to get the WDC, nothing else. The Constructors' Championship is all he's waiting for. And
so Zach doesn't have anything to do at this moment. Like he's just letting them run wild. Who gets it? What does he have to do with it?
He needs to make sure these kids don't go into each other at the end of the day.
That at least have to qualify to be next to each other to go into
and that is fine. That is fair enough. Although Lando kind of proved last time with a little bit of bump and help that he can jump.
Yeah, of course.
6th to 3rd on the start line.
Yeah, quite good. Although he had a little advantage, which Max pointed out quickly.
Chugly.
Okay, anyway. We will be back
with our post-race reactions.
Yeah, so this race is quite late for India time. I mean, not quite late, but 10:30 to 12:30. So I think our next episode will be on
Monday.
Yeah, coming Monday. I'm excited.
Same.
Okay, bye guys.
See you guys.